Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. You know, when I started this channel, I wanted to cover areas that I thought were important in general, with the hope of still being around a few years later to look at individual titles and things of interest in more depth. And that's what I'm doing now. I want to talk a little bit more about the amazing American composer Don Gillis. Do I have his dates here? No, of course not. I don't have his dates. Don Gillis was an absolutely fascinating character. He was the manager of the NBC Symphony Orchestra when Toscanini was there, and a composer of considerable merit. He wrote something like 12 and a few and a half or so symphonies and lots of orchestral music, most of it of recognizably American stamp, mixing jazz and classical, some of it very light, some of it quite serious. He wrote concertos, he did tons of stuff. And Albany, fortunately, had a wonderful series dedicated to his symphonies and some other orchestral pieces and concertos, but he still hasn't gotten his due, anything like his due, as an American original and a serious composer. I mean, if I were to make a list of the 20th century American composers who really mattered, Gillis would be very high on that list. But he's practically unknown and certainly not performed regularly. The only piece of his that gets, occasional play is his jolly Symphony number 5½, subtitled as Symphony for Fun, a short, peppy jeu d'esprit, which by any sane measure ought to be as popular as Prokofiev's Classical Symphony. It's delightful. It's in that vein, and it's just as marvelous and beautifully crafted and tuneful and funny, and it's got everything going for it. Anyway, I bring him up because I see that this thing is still available. It's on Vocalion, which is a sub-label of Dutton, which license all kinds of nifty stuff and happily keeps it in print, thank God. And this 2-CD set, which really is, it's one CD with a little bit of a bonus because it combines 2 albums that Don Gillis recorded of his own music extremely well. It's 86 minutes of music in total, and it's in very, very good sound, although I think some of it's mono. I think it is mono, but it's hard to say because no one ever tells you anything very simply here. I don't know. Well, it's either stereo or it's mono. How's that? It's one or the other. And it sounds great, so it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And what you get is just wonderful because some of this music has been recorded, and it just goes to show. I mean, Gillis was the consummate professional. I mean, he was a real pro, and he recorded his music as well, if not better, than anybody else. You get the fabulous Symphony number 5½, which is all of, let's see, 7, 10, 12, 13 and a bit, 14 minutes long, 4 movements, and hilarious. I mean, the movement titles are Perpetual Emotion, Spiritual, ? Schizophrenia, that's just marvelous, Schizophrenia, and Conclusion, ! Then you get his tone poem, The Alamo, which is exactly what it says it is. Gillis was a native of Texas, and a lot of his orchestral works reflect his love of his native state with, a tourist's view of Texas. And it's all, people might say a little kitschy, a little tacky. It's true 1950s Americana, but in the most open-hearted and sincere way, whether he's being serious or whether he's being humorous, or all of the music has a total, utter honesty of expression, which puts it beyond, I think, just mere kitsch. Some may disagree, but that's how I feel about it. Then you get the Saga of a Prairie School, which is his Symphony number 7. A beautiful, beautiful, sincere work based on a lot of, hymn tunes and things like that, or music that sounds like hymn tunes and things like that. The movements are titled The Vision, The People, The Dedication, and The Fulfillment of what happens at the Prairie School. And then you get a suite, The Portrait of a Frontier Town, another one of these West things. It begins with Chamber of Commerce, which is a wonderful movement title, I think. Where the West Begins, A Ranch House Party, Prairie Sunset, and Main Street Saturday Night. And then on the bonus CD, there is a work for narrator and orchestra, which they always make me scream. I hate pieces with narrator and orchestra, but this is delicious. It's called The Man Who Invented Music. It's a very funny little story about a grandfather who's telling his granddaughter this story. He's claiming that he invented music, telling her a little bedtime story as a way to waft her off to sleep. It's 14 minutes long and it's full of fun. And that's what you get. I mean, really a bunch of wonderful works that give you an entire overview of Gillis's work conducted by the man himself. And so if you can get your hands on this, it's Dutton. I mean, it's readily available. It was originally on Decca. It's licensed from Decca. And I'm delighted to recommend it to like everyone in the universe who wants to hear what was really going on that mattered in American music that nobody was paying attention to in the 1950s while the academic avant-garde was pushing its crap on all of us. There were wonderful composers out there, as we're discovering, and Gillis was certainly one of them. Someday, as Mahler once said, his time will come. I really believe that, or if there's any justice in the universe, which of course there isn't, but his time should come. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.